Hello, welcome to my new player guide that I've been doing for 2024. Now, I wanted to show all of this information in-game, but to be honest, it's impossible. In order to choose the corporation you like, the little bit of background story, but more importantly, their equipment, what armors they have, what weapons they have, what do you want to use. For example, you want to use a class that uses SMGs or pistols or, I don't know, big guns. This is the only way to see it for now, because currently the top 3 corporations will always lure the solar system, and if you help them in the beginning, well, you're just making the game harder for yourself. So you have two options: either join some of the big corporations or fight against them from the beginning. If you fight against them from the beginning, you have a much better chance of defeating them, but still a very, very big thing to do. So I recommend you just pick the top 3 corporations and 2 other corporations that you'll help so you can get some of their gear. Exarchy, yeah, they're the evil guys that are keeping the crew from coming out, and the rebels, which are they're not mentioned over here. The civil resistance. Oh yeah, other groups. They're the ones that are fighting these 3 corporations over here, so they can tell people what is happening. So that's why I always try to help them, because technically they're the good guys, but not so much. Test Clan, I think Test Clan, they're just here to destroy the world, but it's more or less complicated than that. I mean, the world is already being destroyed by the top 3 corporations. So let's go over their equipment. Now, I would recommend you pick AnCom. This is NGF company AnCom. And RealWare as your starting corporations and do missions for them in the beginning, and then choose another 2. This pen is not so hard to fight, but AnCom and RealWare, they are painful to fight, so I don't recommend you do that. So let's go over AnCom. What is their special weapon and the special armor? Well, they have the Taiga, a nice shotgun. It can also have the extended magazine, 24. They have the Storm NCM, which is a nice SMG. To be honest, it's one of the better starting weapons that you can see in the beginning of the game. They also have the AAD Barracuda, which is a great shotgun. As you can see, the max damage is 64, so that means you can basically destroy walls with it from the beginning of the game. Now, this will only show up in the end game, but if you like shotguns, this is also good. I'm also showcasing this for the purpose of, collecting stuff and other things. So yeah, it also has a nice range. So the range is 4. 4 is not a lot, but it's pretty nice for something that shoots so much stuff. Also has auto mode, which is 4. I think this should be called burst, but hey. Super strong, probably one of the best shotguns in the game, but yeah. You also have to look at the critical damage. So if you crit with this weapon, it will be a lot of damage, 185% damage. You also will have the Taurus, which is another great submachine gun, probably one of the best in the game as well, because the min to max damage is very nice, but look at also the range. Range is 5, magazine is 40. It also has a bit of a silencer, so the silencer they'll just draw less attention when you're firing it, so it's amazing. No Wolf, probably my favorite sniper rifle in the game, because it can burst fire, which is amazing. It does a lot of damage. Plus the chance, well, it will always wound. Properties, penetrating trauma. I think penetrating trauma just means it will always cause a wound when you hit an enemy. So that's going to be very fun to play with, right? Also, magazine has 5 bullets. The reload is very long, but look at the damage and look at the burst. You will be able to kill elite enemies sometimes in a single burst or 2 bursts, or in the same round, and that's what matters. Also, I'm showing you these weapons so you know that you'll be fighting against them in the end game. So do you want to fight against this stuff? Not really. The Alpha. Now, this is a very weird pistol. We also have a rifle variant to it, because from what I know, it's one of the 3 or 4 weapons that deal shock damage, and you don't encounter them too often, but when you encounter them, they're so strong. They can stun your character, and if you're wounded by the shock, you have a lot less accuracy because they debuff your accuracy. So it doesn't matter if they don't kill you in the first shots. If they manage to wound you, that's it, you're going to be dead. Also, you can see here at what tech level they appear, so I'm not going to go all over that. I'm just going to show you them. Otherwise, we'll be stuck here forever. Look at the rifle. The rifle has 7 range. This should be nerfed a little bit. The damage doesn't seem too big, but keep in mind that it's shooting 4 shots per shot. It can also go for single fire, but I don't think the NPCs will shoot you only 1 shot. I think they mostly shoot with 4 shots, because it's a big lightning bolt. So that means the minimum damage is 80. So that means you need about 60 armor at least. Well, I say 60 armor, but that's because of the double damage when it crits. If you have 60 armor, that means even a crit will do very little damage to you, but you only absorb 90% of the damage, so I don't know, you can do the math, but usually it will crit you once or twice, and that's why you die so fast to it. And if it does, even if it doesn't crit you, you need at least 20 shock damage, shock armor, but I don't know, it's complicated to explain. Just know that usually you want to have the max amount of armor you can get. So if the max damage is 44 and you have 44 armor, that means you'll take 10% of damage. So that means you'll take 3 points of damage. But if it crits, well, that's a whole nother story. I'm explaining this because this is currently the toughest weapon to go up against in the game. Also, it's very good because of the stats. It's a bit broken in my opinion. What sets do they have? Well, they have the Arbiter set, which gives you blunt, pierce, and cut resist, a little bit of fire, but no cold or poison, some shock, but no beam. Beam is one of those other types of damage that is done by the basically all of the energy weapons. The shadow pattern is a bit weird because this set is one of the worst sets in the game because it doesn't give you any protection against physical damage, which is kind of shocking, but yeah, there are not a lot of enemy factions that only have a single type of damage that you can basically be defended against, so they're easy to kill. Mystery pattern, it does have everything except poison and pierce, but the resistance to beam, fire, cut, and blunt basically covers everything. Pierce damage from what I played is not such a big deal anyway, so you won't have a lot of problems with that. Also, it counts as heavy armor. That's AnCom. Wow. They are something else, are they? SBN. SBN are the guys that have the weapons that don't need ammo. So if you like shooting without needing ammo, is great. And it also shows you the condition over here, 105. So those other weapons, but pretty decent condition. But these ones, with 105 conditions, you can basically shoot them on an entire mission and you'll only repair them with junk. Now, this is a tech weapon, and I think it can be only repaired with a tech chip, the one that you get from disassembling energy weapons. But the idea is that you will always be dealing 26 damage and 175 crit chance. That's huge. Plus the piercing chance and some of the other stuff like the silencer. These weapons are very, very silent, so you can fire a shotgun of this thing, this type, and you will not really be heard throughout the level. So they're a great weapon for an assassin or this type of damage. Great stuff. The shotgun might be a little bit disappointing because it doesn't stack with your shotgun skill that the tunnel rats have, because it specifically says that in order to increase the damage of the shotgun, it needs to use shells, and it increases the damage of the shells, not of the gun itself. So, but still, 42 damage is a lot, considering you can burst it for 3 shots. Weirdly enough, it seems to it increases damage when you make a burst. I don't know. I'll just take it at face value and believe what it says. So 3 shots, that's almost 120 damage. So nothing will really survive if it doesn't have a lot of piercing armor. Super nice and super fun. It's also very easy to maintain. Like I said, if you don't need ammo, you just need a few repair items, and that's that. It will free up a lot of slots. Plus, if you're fighting against Death's Clan, you can basically use some of these weapons to just annihilate them without them having any chance to fight back. But again, you need a lot more of that, and it also depends on their armor. An SMG, not much to say about over here. Auto, 7 shots. Normal shot is 4. So as you can see, this one has 180 condition, just because it will drain it super fast, because it's an automatic weapon, 150. So yeah, this SMG will fire 7 shots, so that's a lot of damage. That will be about 200 damage if you hit with all of them. So that's why these things are so good. Plus the range is very good on it, 4. Well, I say very good, but 4 is kind of like the range at which you will hit. The actual range is about 6 or 7, because if you fire a lot of bullets, you'll almost hit your enemies all the time. What do they have? They have the blue cap guard, which is basically a parade armor, which is funny to me. They have the Minigun armor set, which doesn't have the cut resist or the poison or the cold resist, but otherwise it's one of the best armor sets in the game, and it's pretty easy to get if you fight them a lot. You don't really need the cut resist that much. You can just put another item that gives you some cut resist. Cold resist, there are not a lot of cold weapons. The poison resist will be a problem, but not so much. And then the dawn pattern. This is also kind of like a trash set because you don't have blunt or cut resist. You do have pierce, but I don't know. You have to mix and match them. I don't like this personally. It seems like it's a big mistake because you'll be critted by a lot of normal weapons most of the time. RealWare. Well, they're a bit annoying sometimes, but usually they have some of the better stuff. They have what is called basically a normal pistol, but it's one of the strongest pistols in the game. It's 9mm and it can burst shot 2 bullets, 30 to 36 damage, range is 5. Everything you would want. The condition is also pretty high. You also get a backup gun. Just great all around. Of course, man, it's more or less the same as the other ones, except look at this. This is a 6 range, so this basically means it's a 6 range with 7 ammo shot per auto mode. That means about 140 damage if you go for the minimum, but it's basically an automatic sniper rifle with a lot less damage, if you understand that. Also, the silencer and the painful criticals help a lot, because if you crit with this one, you'll do a lot of damage. It's also a bit of silence, not completely silenced like the other ones, but it does a nice job. And this is one of my favorite weapons. I used to love this weapon a lot. So first is 2, auto is 5. Auto is 5, and look at the damage, and it's heavy bullets, heavy ammo. That means you can pierce through a lot of enemies, plus the force trauma. I think this just means you'll ignore 5% of their armor or something like that. I forgot what it is. Great weapon, but it's a bit of a general weapon. You can kill anything with it. It has 36 in magazine, but at the same time it will chew through your ammo. So that's the only problem I have with it. It's going to chew through your hard-earned ammo. Commando. Well, the Commando is again more or less like a medium armor, but it's more like a light armor. So light armor is not that good in the game, no matter how you look at it. Carnage pattern is one of the best armor sets in the game, because you're just missing shock and poison. Otherwise, you have everything you need. So basically, you'll be weak against spiders and the Tets clan people and AnCom, and that's it. The rest of the enemies in the game you'll probably be able to tank without many problems. Only one of the best items in the game, one of the best armor sets, and then guess what? You just get a better version of it with the Warlord pattern. So this is why I like to do trading with RealWare a lot. They have the Buffalo backpacks, but they also have this beautiful armor set. It looks nice, and it's also one of the best in the game. So you might be wondering, well, what's the armor? Resist 19 to everything. Yeah, good luck with anything piercing that. So if you have 2 armor sets of this kind, let's say the helmet and the armor, 19 and 16, that's 35 resistance with only the armor and the helmet. So yeah, it's really something amazing, and you can just swap out for the shock if you're fighting against AnCom, but otherwise you can just play like this against everyone. Poison damage is not so bad, but you definitely need one more item to kind of negate that. Now let's go for the other corporations, but we'll go first for Silver Resistance, because I like them a lot. They have the Power Fist, so yeah, if you're a Fallout fan, by the way, the game has a lot of references, so this is definitely a Fallout 4 reference. The damage on the thing is not good, and it also uses energy ammo, but you can cause severe bleeding. The stats are very good, plus the crit chance is very nice, but series of hits. This is where you get the interesting bit. The problem with this weapon is that it uses ammo, and it's energy ammo, and it's kind of hard to get. Otherwise, you can have a lot of fun with it, and definitely you can have a melee fist build, which is fun and funny. They also have their own weapon, their own conventional weapons, which are pretty good, but nothing to write about. As you can see, the range of their SMG is nice, but the damage is kind of bad. The rapid fire is also kind of bad as well. Doesn't fire a lot of bullets, so it's very good for the beginning of the game. The cricket, which is a reference to Men in Black, if you haven't figured it out. It also looks like the cricket, the noisy cricket. Not much to say about it, just a subpar pistol. Uprising C24. I have a feeling they are kind of supposed to resemble the game about the Mars, the Red Revolution. I forgot what it is. That series of games, Red something, that take part on Mars. Anyway, it's decent, but you're just going to be chewing through a lot of ammo with not much to show for it. So yeah, definitely don't use those weapons. The Red Outcast is actually one of the weapons I used a lot in the beginning, because it has a lot of magazine capacity. It does use heavy ammo, which is kind of sad, but the burst is very good. This is the sniper rifle that you can get in the early game. It's probably your best chance at having a decent sniper rifle. Sniper rifles are very rare in this version of the game, so anyone you can get, it's going to be very, very cool. You can get some of them. Yeah, it's the copy of the SVD. The only problem I think this weapon has is that the 90 condition is a bit too low because it seems to drain a lot, but it can also fire in burst mode, so definitely keep a lot of these if you can. Plus, the piercing chances, some of the other stuff is amazing. Their armor is the Guerrilla, which is basically only against poison, otherwise it's even worse than basically light armor. But they also have the People's Front armor set, which is kind of nice for the beginning of the game because it protects you against the elemental physical damage that you'll face in the beginning. So definitely take a few sets of armor in the beginning of the game from this set, and it will be more than enough for most of the game because you have blunt, pierce, cut, fire, and beam resist. That means energy weapons will not hurt you that much, fire will not hurt you that much, so this is kind of like your best option in the beginning of the game, and you get them for free in the start of the game, which is a bit weird, but hey. Also, this is not all of the things they have, because if we look at the weapons in the weapon screen, you'll see that they are missing some weapons from here. Most of them they have, but we'll go through that list as well. Daydream Chems. Alternate, which is a very good pistol. So this is the one that deals frost damage, which is weird because only they have a frost weapon. The min and max damage are crazy. They do use energy ammo, but it's only 4 for magazine. I'm not sure what Cole does. I haven't seen it in game yet, because good luck getting them to tier 5, Tech 5. The range is only 3, so it's one of the lower range guns in the game, but if you open a door and someone is behind it, I don't think they'll have cold armor. So one of the big attractions for this gun, this pistol, might be the fact that there are not a lot of enemies that have cold resistance. So you'll be able to one-shot, one-kill most of them, and with a character that has pistol accuracy, this might be amazing. I might also be wrong, but hey. The speed, you know about it, not much to say about it. This is a very bad weapon. It was made a little better because it's silenced, it can deal a big critical hit, and the mint max damage is not that bad, but you're not really going to be using chem ammo. Gorgon, not much to say about it. It's a flamethrower that uses chemical stuff, you probably know about it. Necrosis. I'm not sure if this is in the game, it says unreleased, but if it's a chem-grade grenade launcher that can deal... Anyway, it's just over here, show and tell, it's not going to be in the game, so let's not talk too much about it. They also have the hazmat stuff, which is only poison resist. The eliminator set is a little better because it has some cut and fire, some pierce as well, but some beam as well. It's more or less medium armor. They look cool when they're in their full set, of course, but not much to say about that. PlanetBridge. This is where we get into the very cool stuff. The Enigma Supreme is their electromagnetic rifle, which is super strong because it's a sniper rifle that has 7 range. The condition is the only problem it has, but it can pierce, it has a lot of damage, plus the silencer, plus the guaranteed damage, plus the critical damage will be 80 piercing, so a lot of enemies don't really have a lot of pierce armor. This is definitely going to be one of the most useful guns in the game if you can get it early. Thunderstorm. Good luck getting this weapon. So you have seen how strong it is to have the AnCom lightning rifles. Well, imagine if you had a minigun with this stuff. So the range on it is 6, the damage is 26 to 36, it's electric, which is just shock damage. A ramp up shot, which maybe means you fire faster, or I don't know, maybe you just do more damage with the last shot or something. But it will chew through your ammo, so if you have one of these things, it will probably kill anything inside with the shock damage and the shock wounds and so on. Free ammo per shot. So that's... Hey, you can do the math, but definitely one of the weapons I really want to get, except you need PlanetBridge Tech level 6, which is almost impossible. They also have the Foreman set, which is a civil set, don't really want that. But they also have the Ironclad helmet, which is kind of interesting because it's a set that is more or less designed to be a physical damage resist. So it's only classified as medium armor, but one of those items, one of those set items that looks very cool, and if you can get some of it in the early game, it's going to be amazing. I guess that just means you can use all of the other elemental damage against this faction and you'll be very successful. Grasshopper. I think you can just look at them as the cowboy. Cowboys of the QuasiMorph. They don't have a lot of stuff, but the pistol they have, which is One of them is the Money Keeper. Has decent damage, but uses heavy ammo. Magazine is only 4, so it's probably one of those revolvers that only has 4 bullets in it. I like it, to be honest, but the damage is not good enough to justify you using it, but it's very cool. Coreward. This reminds me of what? Anyway. Yeah, okay, exactly. So one of the more weird stuff, it's a real gun. I don't think this is such a good gun, but I haven't figured out how to kind of compare it with other weapons. Because the max damage is not so nice, I don't know. It's kind of like medium at all it does. Figure special now. This is a marksman rifle. I actually had it a couple of times and it's pretty good. Doesn't seem like it's that good, but it's tube fed. I think it just means you can reload it, all of it at the same time. Also has a burst because apparently we love sniper rifles that can do burst damage, plus the critical damage is huge. If you can crit with one of these things, you will do a lot of damage. Also, in case you're wondering about the crits, well, you just need to have a pistol in your secondary weapon slot, and that will give you a 5% crit chance. Otherwise, you're depending on your class to do crits. But even so, it's going to hurt a lot when you do a crit. Condition is pretty nice, I don't know. It has kind of like it's on the lower spectrum of damage, but since it uses heavy ammo and it can pierce through targets, and I think it's a decent one as well. If you can get a few of them, definitely use them. Silent Coven. Well, these ones have a lot more stuff to bring to the game, especially their pistols. Their pistols do a lot of damage, and while they might not have the best stats overall, they do have some of the highest stats in the game. So 20 minimum, range is 6, magazine is 8. Critical chance is pretty, critical damage is great. And then you have Order, which has lower range but a little higher damage. It's kind of funny if you could play with two of these. You can see this is more or less a gimmick, and then you come to the really interesting things like this pistol, which is a laser pistol. The damage of this thing is kind of big, 24 to 34. Again, it's beam damage. It also counts as a beam weapon, so it does beam damage. It's also a backup gun. Range is 5, so definitely is one of the higher ranges pistol that can do a lot of other good stuff for you. So at some point in the game, you just want to have more types of damage. The Supernova 7000 is an energy shotgun, which is kind of crazy because the minimum damage is not so nice, but the max damage is it's as high as the sniper rifles I showed you. Yeah, I really want to get this shotgun because it's going to be one of the things that will kill enemies so much faster. I mean, just think about it. Burst mode, which is going to be a free shot. Oh, it increases the damage? I'm not sure what this is all about, but I'll just assume it does more damage when you do the burst. So probably one of the highest damage weapons you can get in the entire game at this point. The 4 range is to be expected on a weapon like this, but it looks so cool. Enlightenment MK. Laser, much more rifle. This stuff reminds me of XCOM. Yeah, it looks very cool. Trivia, no trivia. It kind of, yeah, probably it's from XCOM or something like that, inspired. Like all of the other sniper rifles, it can burst, it has a lot of damage, crit damage is very high, but it also has 15% silencer and some of the other stuff as well that you'd expect, but this thing will shred, especially if an enemy doesn't have enough resistance against beam weapons. Minimum 40 damage will kill most of the enemies in one shot, so this is definitely one of the best guns in the game. Also, look at the range. The range is 9. I don't think I've seen a weapon with 9 range. Basically, you can kill the enemies even before they get a chance to know your general direction. I don't think they'll even come after you because it has a little bit of a silencer. You can just kill enemies. They'll never notice you. It's probably going to be a very fun playthrough with that weapon. The Prophet pattern. But this is kind of interesting set because it's again one of those sets that gives you resistance against all of the elemental damage, but it also has some pierce resist. So even though it's almost trash, giving you the pierce resistance means you can min-max it with some other armors. Also looks one of the coolest. And I'll not show all of this because again it's a pixel game. You probably just want to see the helmet, which is the more interesting piece of the set. The rest you can probably figure it out for yourself how it looks. Franche-Comte. Now, this is a faction that I underestimated so much, but they're actually one of the best factions in the game. They have the shock melee weapon. Doesn't do a lot of damage per se, but it does a lot of pain damage plus the severe fracture. Definitely one of the best melee weapons because it also has a crit chance of 10% and some of the other stuff. MF, it's actually a pretty easy to obtain pistol, and as you can see the damage of it is very high, but of course the back draw, the problem with it is that it has a range of 3. Magazine of 8, the other stuff is very nice, but yeah, range of 3 for a pistol like this, but it uses 9mm, so that means it's very cheap to use. Again, I think the pistol class clones and classes will have a lot of stuff to do in the future with stuff like this, but for now... Oh wait, it can burst? Let me guess, it's a 2 burst shot. That will hurt a lot if you hit something with it. You have then a submachine gun, which is more or less like in line with the other one, 16. Oh, it has a very low... Yeah, the magazine is kind of small. It can have a single fire. Oh, that's actually nice. So it can function as a pistol or as an SMG with 4 shots. Not bad, but still not going to be any... It's kind of like for the mid-game. And this is the stuff that I like. I looked at it and I like all of the stats. It has a range of 6. It's an assault rifle. The French assault. Kind of funny. The damage is nice, I would say it's nice. The critical damage is also very nice. The magazine is 18, which is a bit low. I guess it's kind of to reflect the fact that they work in prisons where they don't shoot a lot. Kind of a cool design. Shake. This is, I think, yeah, this is the faction that has the grenade launcher. So if you don't find more grenade launchers, you can buy them or from Coreward, like Coven or Coreward, and then you can basically have a lot of fun with them. Now, the problem with this thing is that, well, I guess if you can make grenades, it will have basically no drawback, and you can use it as a secondary weapon. They also have the pointsman set, which is again kind of like prison gear. But the difference is that it has beam resistance also. This is definitely one of those items that Armor says that is going to be super useful in the beginning of the game. It doesn't have fire resist, but shock and beam. I guess mostly beam and the other ones will be enough. We have the Cerberus pattern, which is basically all physical. As you can see, there are a lot of armors that more or less have the same stats. So I think the developer should implement some kind of a trait or, I don't know, something more special for them. Yeah, I think they should introduce some set bonuses for the armor. If you have, let's say, one armor set, one armor item, it should give you a bonus. If you have 2 or 3 or 4, it should give you more bonuses or bigger bonus to that. Otherwise, it seems like most of these are just copy-paste with a different art. Definitely. Cerberus because it's a guard dog, a mythology, guard dog from mythology. And they're the prison corporation. Coreward is also one of my favorites, so as you can see, Franche-Comte and Coreward have some of the more interesting stuff. The shovel, the combat shovel. Not much to say about that. The Brent nail gun, which is an interesting one because you can use nails to do a lot of damage. This is basically kind of like the baseline pistol, plus it's silenced. And the rapid fire fires 3 of them and it's piercing damage, so definitely worth using in the beginning of the game. And then you have the Architect, which is a better nail gun. Oh, it's okay, so it's a upgrade version of the Builder. Firepower, accuracy, range, and durability. The range is 6. The durability is 220. Oh yeah, that's definitely going to be useful. Ramp up shot. I'll just assume it's more damage as you shoot more or something like that. The damage is very low, but you'll be shooting 3 or 5 nails, which will be more than enough. In a way, it's funny because it has so much range and the ammo is probably going to be very easy to make. Simply a fun gun, the whip. Now this is one of those guns that I don't think I'll ever see, and that's why I'm doing this video. Mining laser. Single one shot at 7 range, damage is 32 to 42, it's a laser. The thing I like about this is, well, I don't see where it says what ammo it uses. I assume this is one of those guns that only has condition and it doesn't use ammo. So if it doesn't use ammo and it's a 7 range weapon with a 35% accuracy bonus, that means it's kind of nice. I think I'll play a lot with it. Plus the minimum damage is probably enough to destroy the walls in a few shots as well. I like that a lot. Mid grinder. Well, this is going to be the fun part of the game. You know that we have a cutter. I haven't seen the cutter in forever in this game. But it's one of the weapons that cause people to cry and alt F4, including me. I think I alt F4 the game a couple of times because of it, because you can kill an enemy in one shot with this one. Doesn't matter what armor they have, you just decapitate them. Also, you can cut off an arm or a leg, which will devastate the game. I mean, you can also shoot it in a corner, and if you angle it right, it will just come back at you and kill you. And it has a burst fire mode. So imagine if you're killing one-shot projectiles that can also come back at you, and they also hit in an angle position, meaning you can hit people behind the corner if you just angle. I don't know. This is probably one of those fun weapons that you can manually aim for maximum efficiency, but at the same time, I think you'll be scared every time you fire it. Definitely one of the coolest guns in the game, but I am afraid of it. Definitely you should be afraid of this gun as well. Either you use it. Imagine if you're fighting against these guys that have this one. So yeah, if Coreward is at tech tier 4, you're going to be very afraid when you're going to be fighting them. You also have an upgraded flamethrower, bigger gas tank. Range is 5, so flamethrower with range 5 definitely is going to be one of, again, accuracy 100%, because you cannot avoid fire, and this is what I think what many people don't really look at the game. You have a weapon that will basically always hit with a range of 5, and you can set the entire floor on fire. So even if you're fighting a lot of enemies, this is the ultimate crowd control weapon. Definitely I would use it as a secondary weapon, maybe even as a primary weapon if you are fighting against a faction that doesn't have a good fire resistance. And over here they just have the mining equipment, the mining gear. Just normal mining stuff, close quality, but they also have the Gehenna, which is kind of like the fun stuff. It's again one of the best items you can get in the beginning of the game if you can get them, but it's a level 7 for them. Looks very nice, and it's also covering all of the physical damage, the fire resist, and the fire resist cold. Like I said, you don't deal a lot of the cold. Maybe once the game is fully released or after an update, you'll have to fight in void, meaning space without, meaning in space, and that might be a place where you also take cold damage, because cold is the void, as someone from StarCraft says. Definitely one of the more cooler looking armor sets. Then Church of Revelation. The specialty weapon is the J-Hammer C22, which I like a lot. Now, if you haven't played the game, well, this is probably one of the best shotguns you can get pretty early. Also, just straight up one of the best shotguns in the game. It's auto module fire 4. The min to max damage is great. It also uses simple shells. I guess it can be compared to that other shotgun we showed you. The range is 4. Wasn't this supposed to have 5 range? Maybe I don't remember correctly. Definitely cool and fun to use. Anathema. And this is where, oh yeah, this had 5. So imagine you have an upgraded version of the upgraded J-Hammer. Basically, I want to have this as much as I can, but it's at tech level 10 for the Church of Revelation. It will never happen, in my opinion. Accuracy is pretty good. Let me see. This has 45, yeah. What can I say? Best stats all around. 24 magazine capacity, range is 5 on this thing. It's massive range. Min to max damage is crazy. I don't know, just crazy stats. I like it a lot. Plus it looks kind of devilish, I don't know. They are a bit weird because they have cloth armor, which mostly has resistance against elemental. So yeah, these guys will be very resistant to beam damage. Priest shoes, I guess it's just priest gear. This is of the Seraphim, which is kind of gruesome. It's what I can understand, that looks like a skull. Be an angel, but it looks more like a skull. They also have the little Roman dress on the pants. So definitely one of the coolest armor sets in the game. Definitely one of the best as well, because it has resistance against shock, beam, cut, resist, pierce, fire. Like cold, like I said, is not that important. Only missing blunt damage, but not a lot of enemies deal blunt damage. I think it's a problem because, well, maybe I think the pistols, the 9mm pistols, but that's going to be a little rare to find in the endgame. So definitely one of the better endgame armor sets that I'll definitely be using. I guess I can just use other pants or something. Usually if you have about 15 blunt resistance, that's more than enough. So that's all of them. I think, yeah, we can look at that clan as well, but these are all stuff we already know. I just want to look at the weapons over here so you can see them again. We have the knives, the blades. So if you want to look at a better set, also this is a quest item. If you want to look at all of the weapons and what you can plate, you can just look at them from over here. I don't think they missed anything, so now you know what weapons what corporation use and what to basically fight against, and usually it's going to be against the Hexarchy or the other, or against Tesclan, but we have seen everything. The problem is that we also have these weapons over here, like the Discharger, which is not shown as a specific weapon for that faction, just because they can appear at two other factions. So you also have the Plasma Shotgun, which uses energy ammo, which does a ton of damage. But as you can see, Franche-Comte at 10 or Church at 5, so it's going to be one of those guns you rarely get a chance to see. Definitely one of the best. Burst mode is what? 3? It's 3, not 4. Still, it can destroy walls and everything because it still has one of the highest amount of damage it can deal. Heretic. The Heretic is kind of a weird weapon. Range 3, but max damage is so high. I guess you can really have fun with it. We've shown that. Let me see what other weapons we missed. Genie Sand is from, of course, the Brown Fatura. I don't think this is true. I think I saw this weapon just as a drop from a normal demon. Definitely has a lot of damage, so you have to be careful with them. Quasi-beam. I forget what this does because I rarely get shot with them. Usually I kill them so fast they don't even have a chance to shoot back at me. The normal energy weapons you all know about. The Omega 2, which is a great weapon. Plasma Assault. It's an SMG. Range 5. Magazine is 6. Single fire only. Interesting that it says it's an SMG, but it's definitely a rifle. But definitely one of the best items in the game, one of the best guns in the game. Wheel of Pain, this is from the demons, again, does a lot of damage because the cursed nails will always crit. That's the specialty, they will always crit. We saw that, the Devourer. Okay, so as you can see, the Church of Revelation does have a lot of cool energy weapons. It says this is a Thor rifle, but it's more like a minigun if you want to call it like that. The burst is 2, the rapid fire is 4. Damage is a lot. You can also find it at the Hexarchy, meaning that all three corporations might have it. But this is not all accurate information. Also the sniper rifles. Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of sniper rifles in the game. Or at least I haven't. I guess they just made them more rare. This stuff is great, but it only has one shot with 6 range. Crit damage is one of the highest in the game. If you get critted by this, you'll die. Yeah, I think we have shown everything. This is also a weapon. It's a quest weapon. Magazine 35, reload 6. From what I remember, you can just get it if you do the quest at Sinkhole Oasis, which is on Mars. Not sure what is the state of it, if you can use it or not. There's a story mission reward, but if you lose it, you'll cry. So, I don't know. Volcano now. This is one of the guns that will always destroy you, and you should be always afraid of it. I guess this is one of the problems of the game. The enemy don't have a problem with using ammo, and you'll always have ammo problems. You can get a Volcano and upgrade it. That's kind of like your endgame weapon, but still is chewing too much ammo. It's like Escape from Tarkov. The ammo cost is not enough to justify the enemy you are killing with. Might as well just punch the enemies to death. And you also have the minigun, which is a little harder to obtain in this version of the game. I think it's because of the extreme amount of damage it can deal if it hits most of his shots. Yeah, don't underestimate it, because if it crits you a few times, and keep in mind that you'll always get 10% of the damage, so that means you can get a lot of wounds from one of those shots. Thunderstorm. Shock. Minigun. Beautiful. PlanetBridge at 6. Yeah, I hope there'll be a day where we see all of this. The BFG, or the huge. What can you say? It uses, I think it uses, it uses 40 ammo per shot. It does a lot of damage. It can kill anything. I used it a couple of times, but guess what? I used it also to destroy myself with it, so I don't like it that much. Definitely has its uses, but not the main weapon. And that's about it. So now you can choose your faction depending on what you want to fight against or what you want to fight with. And it's kind of sad that the other corporations are getting so many items and so much not diversity, so many crazy combinations that will help you as well, but you'll never see them because you'll never see these corporations reach tech level 5 or 7 or 10. But now you know. See you next time. Bye.